Yes, we already
Before you all get too comfortable, can you please raise your hand if you have a poster? Okay, so you're already kind of well positioned, so please be prepared to come to the front later. What? All good. Hold on. All good. Give me a second. Yes, I did. Okay. Thank you all and very welcome to our poster session and lightning talk session afterwards. Before we start, there are two people I'd like to know. Is Pedro Garcia in the room? Pedro? No. And Maciej? Stuart? Has a poster show up? Not a problem. Good. So thank you all for being here. We're gonna have our poster spotlights in a second. Before we start, however, we do have an announcement by our fellow sponsor. Yes?
Yeah, hi. So just a super quick announcement. If you scan this QR code, you can win a mechanical keyboard. There are no strings attached. You need to answer a short Python quiz. You even get a chance to win if you answer incorrectly. We do not collect your personal data, just your GitHub name, so we can announce a winner tomorrow at the closing session. And if you want to learn more about what Applied AI Institute is doing, you can come to our booth and talk to us. For example, we are also hiring. If you want to learn more about that, yeah, just come.
Thank you. Thank you, Janusz. And I hope you all have a chance to win. Poster spotlight session. So the rules for this are the following. Everyone who has a poster, I think you more or less know which order you were in the slides, right? So I will ask you to line up and be prepared, and I'm already looking at you because you're first. So we will have 2 minutes. I'm going to have a timer. You have 2 minutes to introduce roughly your poster. You probably have seen the poster. They're like opposite the lunch area, so we're going to go there after the lightning talks, and people will have a chance to present it in more detail. But now I would say, give it a go.
Do we have something to change the slide?
I'm going to do it.
Yes.
But there is also like a... Should be plugged in.
Yes, it is plugged in actually. So this should also work, and also there is the...
Wait, it's not plugged in. Give me a second. It's not plugged in. Wait.
It's not plugged in?
No, it's not.
Oh yeah, okay, it's plugged in, but... okay.
It's not.
Yeah, if you want.
Okay, hello. I'm Lucas. I work mainly on SciPy and Pixie and Array API stuff, and I study at Oxford right now. My poster, which was mainly made by Matt Haviland, not me, is on MArray, masked arrays. So the classic implementation is numpy.ma. That module hasn't seen a lot of love in a while, and MArray is doing two things. It's giving you an updated API, which kind of matches what we're doing in the Array API, and also it works with other backends. So if you want to add masked arrays to Torch or CubeHive or whatever, you can do that. It's kind of niche. It's for missing data, but yeah, if you have like a section of your data which you want to mark as missing, then it will automatically be ignored and have sort of good behavior whenever you're doing array operations on it. Yeah, that's my poster.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so I'm Kamil, and Reshon is not here, but it's honorable mention, as we uploaded it together. Anyway, my poster is about NVMA Python, but before NVMA Python, let's talk about CUDA libraries quickly. So if you are doing some scientific computation, and for whatever reason you didn't choose Python for it, but your C++, we got you covered, because there are a lot of libraries for FFT, matrix multiplication, convolutions, parsing, algebra, and so on. And you have a lot of control, as you can see on the left. All the resources, all the fine little details, you are in control of everything. On the other hand, if you are working with Python, the same operation will look more like this, for example, calling CuPy. And interestingly, under the hood, under all the layers of Python, Cython, the package you're using will probably just call one of the CUDA libraries anyway. So, in a sense, CUDA libraries are already there in Python, so what's there to solve? Well, if the solution you are using turns out not to be fast enough, and you realize that you are in need of more control, then one thing you can do is completely go to the left and re-implement everything in C++, or try to become a library developer and come up with replacement for CuPy for particular operation you do. Or you could do something in between, and that's what NVMA Python is for. So it exposes CUDA libraries with multi-layered API, very low-level one, which basically feels and looks like C but is in Python, and more higher-level ones where one-liner in CuPy or Torch is one-liner in NVMA Python, but with all the advanced features being there and all the knobs being there, and giving the ability to slowly go into finer details if you see that you need more performance. Thanks, that's my poster.
I need to hijack for a second. Did someone see a Google Pixel 8 Pro somewhere lying around on this phone? Somewhere back there. I don't know. If you find it, just give it to me. I just lost it somehow.
Why do they measure?
Why did you take my phone? I was panicking. Then, thank you. Now I can actually take the time. Before that, it was just gut feeling. So.
Okay.
I don't have a mic. So, good afternoon. I've been doing sorry, this one. So I've been doing research in machine learning classifier copies, and I implemented a module so you can also use it. And basically, sometimes you don't have access to a model because it's a black box model, or you don't have access to the original data, and you want to do things with it, you want to evaluate it, you want to change it, whatever. So this technique allows you to mimic, to build a model that mimics the behavior of the original one, but we haven't having access to the original data nor the architecture. And as I said, there are many applications. For instance, you can use it for explainability. If your original model is not from a family of models that is not explainable friendly, or you can also use it to guarantee data privacy because you train the copy model with other data that is not the original one, so it's hard to reverse engineer the model to obtain it. And then how can you get started with that? So first and foremost, talk to me, come to the poster session, check out the poster, and check out the documentation. I recommend it. It's not very long, and I think you will find it insightful. Also, you can just try it out. Just play with it. Pip install Prest. And this, I implemented this module in a Prest toolkit, which is from Mozilla. So it's easy to install. It's not the last version, but I think it's good to start. And then just also try out the tutorial notebook and the other example notebooks that they are there. And I think you'll quickly get fast to it. If you don't have time to get the QR, just look for Mozilla and Prest and you'll find it as well. Thank you.
look like that. I'm what's called a research software engineer at University College London, which essentially means I work with various researchers from across the university. My current project is one called GLASS, which is a cosmology code. Cosmology is like history of time stuff, so, cool. We're working on basically porting this library to support the Ray API. So I didn't know that with the conference, that's been quite handy. So this is essentially our experiences in doing so. Obviously, your API is still relatively early, so some of the stuff we've kind of hacked a solution, although there are nice ones coming along. A lot of the early work was to be honest just getting code in good state because academic software is academic software. And ultimately they want GPU support and auto differentiation. So if we get into Ray API compatible, then we get those for free. And then it looks like that. And it's next to Luxus, so you can talk about Ray API to 2 people.
Hi everyone, I'm Francesco Bonazzi, and I'm going to show you a project about creating a benchmark to evaluate a retrieval augmented generation pipeline over some data, mostly balance sheets of documents. It's pretty complicated. You have a parser, document parser, then we tried many models. And to embed it, retrieval, various models to retrieve the document and various LLMs. We created a hand-verified benchmark and dataset in order to compare results with this dataset and create some accuracy scores to evaluate all the variations of the RAG pipelines. If you want to come, I'll explain you more at the posters.
You can also use the slider thingy to do it yourself if you want.
Hi, my name is Michał. I study here at the AGH at the Faculty of Physics and Applied Computer Science. I have a poster about using NumPy in an MPI environment, so think supercomputer calculations, how to make it more efficient, because NumPy by itself isn't really able to just-in-time compile MPI calls, for instance, from MPI from Pi. So what we do, we provide an API that is compatible with NumPy, basically bridging this gap. We don't have to leave JIT compiled blocks, we don't lose time for that, which is lovely. It can lead to even 300% speed up of code that uses many MPI calls. And also, for our simulations, the second part of the poster is about PyMP data, which is a package that implements a solver for affection diffusion problems. And in that, does the laser work? And in that, we use it for domain decomposition. So basically, not only do we take advantage of just using parallel environment, we also are able to basically cut up this task of calculating many different big things into small bits to feed to the threads and processors. Thank you.
You still had 50 seconds left, so...
Really?
Yes.
See, I'm all about speed. This is all about speed. Performance.
But your time does start when you see the name, so if you want to take longer, before
okay. So my name is Anatoly Volkov, and we developed an extension for scikit-learn with optimized implementations of classical machine learning algorithms. So, and the problem with these implementations is that when you write something efficient, you have to have a lot of hardware-dependent parameters. You may have multiple code passes. So you will have batch size, maximum number of threads, some dispatching conditions between multiple code passes, and this is all is really hard to support because it's hardware dependent, and when the new CPU architecture is released, for example, you have to update this constant, and you will have a really complicated decision trees. And one thing that you can do is to try to benchmark everything, so do a full grid search, and for every case, for every input dimensions, try to find the optimal configurations. But it's unfeasible when you have a lot of parameters, so you have to somehow prioritize which parameters are important, which are not, which values are good, which are not, and during this session we will review some approaches of how we try to do it. So I wouldn't say that it is done really good yet, but yeah, we will show how we try to solve this. Thank you.
Okay, hi, so I'm Alexandra Strumba from AGH University of Krakow, and today I will shortly speak about my poster, which is on the topic of parallel via Python on GitHub CI. Essentially, we wanted to overcome the issue with manual visualizations. They are error-prone, very slow, and also inconsistent. We wanted something reproducible. That's why we did our workflow that starts with every new commit. They start GitHub Actions that run Jupyter Notebook that runs our Python script with Parallel, also with arguments that can change the simulation any way you want. After that, you get the simulation in MP4 or PDF, but also any other supported ones. And after that, you have this updated documentation that looks for our application like this here on the left. We applied it to PySDM, which is a package to simulate the dynamics of population of particles undergoing diffusional and collisional growth. Mostly SDM is super droplet method. So one small droplet, big droplet on the Earth. And it looks at the end something like this. We also made two modes, dark and light mode, but they can change any way you want, only using the GitHub Actions and the Jupyter Notebook. And you can use it to any of your work and any of your...
Thank you. Okay, whoever is left from posters and has a poster, please come forward now. So we can speed this up. Here you go.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hello everyone. My name is Daniel Alejandro, and today I am going to talk about a little bit about Python. Think about the last time that you wanted to run your scientific pipeline into the cloud. How much of your time was spent writing Python? And how much was spent just fighting with security roles, networking, and anything? So this is the reason that we created Python. Python is an automated and integrated platform where when any of you can start launching your code into the cloud in less than 50 minutes, really, 50 minutes. And all of this is also integrated in a familiar interface like VS Code. So the objective of Python is to make the life of researchers and developers easier and simpler, just with our platform. So this is all. Thank you for your time. If you have any question or something like that, I will be happy to answer it.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Yola, and my topic is related to RPG game design, actually tabletop RPG game design. And those types of games are games of imagination, when one of the main components is fighting with monsters. And monsters are creatures represented by a set of characteristics, and also a special number, an integer called level, which represents how hard it is to defeat the creature. And if we would like to start a new adventure, we can take a monster that has already been published by authors of the games over the years. But maybe we would like to create a new one because we have a really custom adventure for our players. And maybe we work as monster designers and we would like to create a new monster. And when it comes to the design process, we can always think about monster characteristics. And we can, for example, want to create a group of goblins, and they have to be strong and charismatic, but not really intelligent. And the answer is what will be the level. Level is important because based on this, we will know whether they are too difficult for our players or too easy. And one of the possible answers is actually ordinal regression, and we can basically take a model, train it, then put our group of goblins for this model, and predict that already that actually the difficulty level is 5. And if you want to know more about this topic, then I will be somewhere nearby.
Oh yeah, I need this. Yes. So we are a group from Germany. We work at Techniker Krankenkasse, which is how do you say that?
Health insurance.
Health insurance. And what we do is, so we brought something like an experience report, and it's about strategies. What you see on the slide is, imagine you have 4 different kinds of LLMs, like a small one, large one, and then on-prem or in the cloud. And you want to choose the right one because each of them, they have their benefits, but also downsides. And you want to know what is the proper one. And what we're doing is we have investigated a set of strategies how to find out what's a good model or even a complete Gen AI system. And those are the strategies that we investigated, and we will tell you how to do it and what are the results. And spoiler alert, one of those that you don't expect actually perform best. Any guesses which one?
Regex.
Yes, Regex. Okay, I gave away the clue, sorry. Now no one comes, right?
Thank you. So, this concludes poster session. Did I miss anyone? No, right? That's good. Now, all of those who have a lightning talk, we can prepare while I pull out the list. Give me 1 second. Okay. So I'll just go down. The first one will be Arek in the room. The next one will be Jacob. You can prepare. I'll be just standing on the side somewhere in a sec.
I don't have the adapter. Do you?
You can take this one, and you can also use this one for the slides. And
what? Nope. Any help? So. Okay, let's try usual thing of changing the source.
No, I don't think because it's not there.
I can try maybe that one.
I think that's just a charger.
can switch the adapter.
Yeah, that's the adapter. Oh, but then we wouldn't have the.
They're struggling with the technical issues. Who of you has already submitted to the quiz from here? Applied AI. Hands up. How many? Okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it says choose to mirror or extend display. So it's like.
Yeah, but it's not detected at all.
Yeah, but you see, it's choose to mirror or extend display.
Okay,
the menu.
then you just need to press the button somewhere.
Sorry, can you just please don't do anything? Wait a second, please.
No, we tried it.
Yeah, it's not that. It's the laptop.
It's in the
Any. This one.
Just
No.
okay. Functional.
What does it say? From.
What is this menu?
So it should be here.
Alric, can you share your slides with someone?
Click here.
Yes.
Yes, it should work.
Choose content. Oh.
Yes.
Extend entire screen. Start mirroring.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah.
How many engineers does it take?
Wait. I forgot my phone again.
I will. Okay. So my name is Arek, and I'm currently working in ING, which is a bank. But I used to be a physicist, working in high energy domain. And back there, I was working a lot with the tensors. So you have the example of the tensors of rank 2, like a G, or the tensor of rank 3, which has the three indexes I, J, and D. The another example of the tensor of rank 1 would be just a vector. So back then I was doing a lot of manipulation operation with these tensors. One of them is a multiplication and summing over one of the indices. So in that case, a new index. So this operation has a name. It's called contraction of the index. And I quite recently thought that maybe I will rewrite my old notebooks written in the Mathematica, in the Jupyter fashion with the Python and with the SciPy library. And it turned out that quite quickly I'm getting the different, maybe I'm not saying wrong, but different results. And it turned out that indeed they were wrong. And there is a bug in SciPy, a long time reported back in 2018. And the problem is that after the contraction, the order of the indexes is wrong. So the correct is, in that case, ij mu, and what is returning is ji mu. And the solution is just one line has to be replaced. So instead of swapping the indexes, actually you have to replace, move the index 0 into correct place. So there is a pull request waiting to be approved. I don't know if someone is taking care still of the SciPy. Please go there. Pull request 28 240. Thank you.
Next, and then it's fun. It's fun. Anywhere? You ready? Good.
Okay, this is my whole slide, and then I'm going to show you a repo. But basically, how many people here are using some kind of coding tool, like Claude Code or Perplexity or some kind of thing to ask to write code or to query About, okay, there's a good chunk of the room. So a lot of you will have seen, like when you use these tools these days, they go and they find documentation and they like pull in chunks of that documentation into its context window and then uses it for, producing the response. And I think if you look at all the news around all this kind of stuff, you see a lot of people pushing back against these tools, reading websites and then kind of reproducing that content, right? But there's like another side to that where you're like a nice open source developer, you're producing a project, you like want to enable that. You want these tools to reach in and see your project and rank highly. And I think we're coming into this like interesting period of time where instead of doing like search engine optimization, you're going to be doing like LLM finding your project optimization, whatever that's going to be called. And so like as part of that, we've been thinking about that for our projects and how we can make our documentation consumable. And I ended up building this random Sphinx extension recently, because there's this project called llms.txt, which has been around for a little while, where this is a spec which describes how to publish a website in the most like LLM consumable way. And if you have a look at the spec, it basically just says, for every HTML page you should have a markdown equivalent. That hasn't got any of the noise in it, it's just the content, right? Almost like the web should have been, but hey. You don't want to fill your context with loads and loads and loads of HTML rubbish that most websites have. You just want the basics, right? So llms.txt describes having some discoverability as a markdown file. Each page is a markdown file. And it also just suggests that you have a single markdown file, which is just all of website or all of documentation, is the way I like to think about it. I want my tool to just go and find my docs and just understand them. So this spec proposes a way to do it. Lots of projects seem to be adopting it. And so I built this out as this extension called Sphinx LLM. It's just a little plugin for Sphinx. You do the kind of normal thing where you just add a thing to your conf.py. But all this does is when you build your site, regardless of whether you're taking in markdown or restructured text or whatever, you're outputting HTML or using the directory builder. It also uses another builder that builds markdown and then kind of nests everything together. So to kind of show you that quickly, if I come over here, I think I've already run it. This is the docs for that library. I just run Sphinx build. It builds my site. I can open this type of documentation. My 5-year-old helped me write a documentation page about feeding apples to a pig. Don't get too distracted by that. That was what she wanted to write about, and we were hanging out. But if you go on the example page, you see this got this example.html, and if you view the source, there's lots of stuff, right? There's not actually very much content here, but there's lots of stuff that will fill up your tokens in your context window. Whereas if you just stick a .md on the end of that URL, you now get this little 3-line, this is that documentation page's markdown. Right, so you can add this to kind of whatever project. Please, if you use it, come and file bugs and things. If you're using all sorts of other weird and wonderful extensions, there's probably challenges. So come and report that. There's other stuff in the repo, but that's all I want to talk about. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. So Frank next, and after that, Patty.
I feel like I'm in LLM because I will be using it myself.
Yeah, exactly. Random markdown is really nice.
Just close it. Okay, so Python datetime lies. I don't know if you ever noticed. If you're working with datetimes and you haven't noticed, maybe you want to review your code, otherwise it might behave unexpectedly in around 2 months or so. And usually nobody wants to talk about this because time zones are difficult, and on top, daylight saving time changes is even more difficult. So let's consider a case. We are starting at 9 p.m. on a Saturday evening, and we want to set an alarm clock at 9 a.m. the next morning. And we count the time with a stopwatch. At 3 a.m., we rewind clocks by 1 hour. That's the daylight saving time change. And we end up with a time span of 13 hours on our stopwatch. And usually you notice this because you get 1 hour of sleep more on that particular Saturday, Sunday night. We can do the same in Python. I mean, that's a nice example. I take the Berlin time zone, I set up the 2 dates, and if I do the difference, I get 12 hours. That's a bit odd. So if I have the same date time, or if I have the same time zone object in an arithmetic operation, I get 12 hours. But it gets weirder. Berlin and Paris have exactly the same offset to UTC. And if you subtract these two objects from each other, you get 13 hours. So to me, this is extremely unexpected, in both cases. And I'm pretty sure there are many cases on GitHub where this exact behavior is not considered. If you talk to Python developers or to Python maintainers, that's a feature. It's not a bug. It's specified like this in the documentation. If you read the fine print on the datetime module, it says that if the time zone object is identical, it's just ignored, even if the offset changes in both arguments. And you get even weirder cases. For example, you could invert the ordering of 2 events. If you ask which one is greater than the other, you might get the wrong answer. And if you want to avoid all of this, do all the arithmetics in UTC, or use pendulum, where you have another nice feature that plus 24 hours and plus 1 day is not exactly the same if you're across the daylight saving time boundary. If you want to read more examples, you can scan this QR code. Thanks. Okay, so the answer that I got was if you want to schedule a meeting at 9 a.m. every day, how do you do it? You add 24 hours, even across the daylight saving time boundary. Otherwise, you would end up at 8 a.m. But I don't buy the argument. If you want to schedule a meeting always at the same time, you add, you enumerate the days and set the time to 9 a.m. I think it's a very bad reason. We can't change it because it would break so many things. So at least now you know.
So next, Patty is already ready, and then Mike.
Oh, I didn't click the thing.
Right. Blue thing.
Blue thing. Yeah, I think that should be fine. Go away. Hang on. No. Oh, go away. I should actually read what it says. On the right of the shift key and the left of the keyboard.
It identifies the clicker as a keyboard, but it's not a keyboard.
Okay. I think this is fine. Okay.
Alright, so this, I should warn you, this is an hour-long talk, not right now, that I'm going to my department soon. So I'm going to do a very quick rush through.
That's quite small. Why is it so small?
Okay, cool. Okay, so if ever you've seen one of these like Reveal.js slides and you're like, oh, those are cool, how do you make them? I'll just give you a way of how I make them. So it's using a tool called Quarto. The long story short is you basically make some Markdown files into a nice rendered presentation. So, and quite funny little story, but Lucas, who I'd never met until today, used my talks like content earlier, so that was quite fun. So this in itself is a very basic Quarto website. So Quarto, you can make different things. You can make websites, you can make slides, you can make some other stuff. All this is doing is just pulling my presentations, and then if I were to click on to the relevant one, make it full screen. So I'm obviously going to have to skip through various slides because there's way too much here. But and I have a link so you can look at this afterwards. I'm not going to show this now, but there's a QR code. So I've kind of gone through the motivation. Yeah, I think I'll just kind of go through what I have in the repository. So I should also say that I'm a real pedant, so I've got a lot of like clean code stuff in here which you don't necessarily need. So the main thing is that was not relevant, that was not relevant either, that was not relevant either. So this is like the boss action that I've used, but essentially Quarto has its own system to deploy stuff to say GitHub pages wherever you want to host it, so Quarto render or whatever, and that's my just way of abstracting that away for myself. Quarto has the ability to have extensions, so for example that QR code thing I did is through an extension. Here's a couple I'm using. If you want to use some, symbols from Font Awesome, you can. The QR code, the way that's working in the filter is you can write some Lua filters. So I have one very basic Lua filter that looks like that. And I should say as well, with Quarto, all of this is like live code. So if I were to change that actual file, it changes on here. That's how the QR code one is done. And we'll go through the rest of this. Now, to show you some of the nice features of Quarto, so what I've done, some of those other talks I showed you before, I just picked out random slides, show you what it looks like in code, and then how it renders. So, for example, the title slide, every title just starts with essentially YAML front matter header. That's all that is, and what you saw in that website is just picking the stuff out. Figures is just usual markdown syntax with the exclamation mark thing, and by default they render in the middle. The thing you would use for accessibility essentially becomes a caption, which is quite nice. Lists is just as you'd imagine, markdown lists. There is a setting for incremental to be true, which I've enabled, so you can do this kind of thing where they come one by one, and it fills the available window screen. Code blocks. So this is a really cool feature. So standard kind of markdown like syntax highlighting, but you can change the numbers to pick out certain lines. So this is for my config of Renovate, which is like a Dependabot alternative. And when it renders, it does this kind of thing. So it means as I'm going, I can talk about certain bits. So here, like, these is to do with auto-merging and whatever. You can also select bits that aren't consecutive, and you can also manually scroll this thing, but it will also auto-scroll. Footers. So you might have seen at the bottom, mine says talks, but if you want a custom footer like this one here, that changes the footer. Fragments, so this is essentially like if you want PowerPoint style animations or that kind of thing, you can, so that fading in. Columns, again, it's just kind of markdowny. So if you want to have two things next to each other, you can. Flowcharts, so if you use Mermaid as a way of doing flowcharts in Markdown, that's one. So again, it's just standard syntax. Quotes, as you'd imagine, just exactly the same. Checkboxes, so this is quite fun. I don't know why you never need this, but if you want to be able to live check your things, you can. Running code, if you actually want to run code underneath, which is quite a niche use case, but I gave a talk where I basically went to SciPy in the US last year, and I wanted to show where it was on a map, and so I can. So yeah, that is an example of something you can run. And I think there's a couple more. Oh yeah, this is quite fun if you want to be able to show a website preview. So this was again for that same conference. I had 4 of them next to each other, I've just showed one. But you can render a static website within your website.
Thank you. So Mike is already there, and then next is, I hope I pronounced right, Jost. Thank you.
Okay. Some other questions? So I would like to.
This was okay. So if you like conferences, you like WordCamps, I guess. So who knows what a WordCamp is? Oh, I'll explain it below. So a WordCamp is also sometimes called an unconference. So it's an event that doesn't need a schedule, any kind of talks you need to submit. People that are interested in a topic, your Python obviously, meet, and then the first session is to decide what you do. And people suggest topics, and then there's usually 1 hour slots, and then you have a topic. It can be a talk, so you can recycle a talk from a conference, you can rehearse a talk for a conference, you can just discussion topic, you can have a reverse session, so teach me something. So if you're lucky, you have something in the audience that can help you to teach you some topic, if not, it's not going to fly. So these are things you can do in a WordCamp, and we do this quite a bit. here, and I would like to advertise for one specific barcamp here, but the barcamp in general is a good idea. So the effort to organize a barcamp is very small compared to organizing a conference. You need a venue, you need a little catering, maybe something like this, and usually these are smaller. They don't scale for 500 people. So like 50, it's a big barcamp already. So you don't want to have a big one. You have small ones. And we have one here in Rügen, which is the Baltic Sea. It's an island, the biggest island in Germany, I think it's the Baltic Sea. And just to give you an impression where it is, right there, you see Denmark there, and then Stettin is Poland there, so it's not so far away from here. And we are right there in the middle of the island. It's a very nice place there. It's right at the beach. So again, I have more location. So it looks like this. So it's a pretty nice way, and because it's September, the water is still warm enough to go swimming. But not is very shallow there, the water, so pretty warm. And we have this location there, and this location also offers accommodation right there. And since it's a vacation place, there's a lot of places to stay in September. There are not so many people do a vacation, so if you're interested, just go to pythoncamp.de. You can register. I think it costs a minimum fee like 20 euros, but it includes catering, so you get more out of it than you invest in terms of money. Traveling to it, of course, you have to do yourself. So if you have any questions about the barcamps in general, please approach me. Usually it's a very, very good event. You take home a lot because it's very interactive. Thank you very much.
Up next is Jos and then Olivier.
Sure. So in a former life, I used to be an astrophysicist. And about 2 years ago, at this conference in Italy, really nice place, during a coffee break, a local PhD student came up to me and told me, thank you so much. I spent weeks calculating event rates for this one model. Then I discovered your software and added 2 more models in an afternoon. And I think that's still the best compliment I've ever received. So I want to talk a little bit about how we did this. First, one slide of background. I work with supernova neutrinos. What are those? Well, supernovae are exploding stars, which create black holes, neutron stars, and chemical elements you need for life, like the oxygen in your lungs and the silicon in your computer chips. And neutrinos are these subatomic particles, which are kind of like ghosts and interact so weakly that they can literally go through walls or through the exterior of a star and can transport information about what goes on inside the star to Earth. So if you want to research this, there's 3 separate fields. There's nuclear astrophysics people who are running these huge computer simulations of exploding stars. There's theoretical particle physicists studying how neutrinos behave as they exit the star, travel to Earth. And then there's experimental particle physicists who actually detect them. So 3 separate fields, and people from these fields don't talk to each other often enough. And some of that is because it is different fields, they have different conventions, use different terms of art and so on. But some of it is also just because there's a lot of friction. And we can use, boilerplate code to reduce some of that friction. For example, I was in one of these particle physics experiments on the right, and we usually started out, using one of these supernova simulations from the nuclear astrophysicists on the left, and then kept using that for 10 years, 20 years or so, even though there were lots of new simulations, but implementing them is kind of a pain. So we didn't. And that is ultimately bad for science. So a couple years ago, people from these 3 separate fields came together. I wrote something called Snoopy, which is has these 3 different modules, basically 1 from each field. And what these modules are doing is not implementing fancy new physics or doing exciting stuff. it's just boilerplate code. Just code to read in those model files. Or to apply some of these, basically apply matrix multiplication. And you just have to take the exact matrix from some theoretical physics paper and write it down in code. It's not very fancy, but it reduces friction. And this modular design also enables people from these different areas to contribute whatever they're working on without having to think about all the other stuff. So the result was lots of people actually using this from all these separate fields. And I think this is a really big deal, because imagine if each of these groups had to write their own boilerplate code. Imagine how much time they would have wasted on writing that, how many bugs they would have produced, and how much bad science that would have given us because of these bugs. Right? So by just writing some boilerplate code, we can help fix this. So in conclusion, when we do research, there's always two types of problems. There's these generic problems, reading in files, dealing with different formats, implementing these equations from some paper, which we can solve with boilerplate code, so we can all spend time instead to think about domain-specific problems like exploding stars, which is, after all, what we all want to do. Thank you very much.
So next is Olivier and then Konstantin.
The other one. Which one is it? Oh, this one.
This is Chuck, yes.
So, hi everyone. So, I just wanted to advertise a conference we organize in Paris at the end of September, so PyData Paris. So, we do nice t-shirts. So, this year we will have 3 keynote speakers. Alenka is going to talk about Apache Arrow, Ralph about the SciPy ecosystem at large, and Anita about geographical information systems. And there are going to be 3 tracks. Last year we had 500 participants, so many talks, 45, more than this presentations. And I think we still have room for sponsors if you want to sponsor. And at the same time, in Paris, there is also the Apache Arrow Summit that happens during the last day of the conference, during the sprint, and during the previous days, there is also JuliaCon happening in Paris at a different venue. And of course, we also have a sprint for the last day, so feel free to come. And it's too late to submit a presentation, but you can still submit a lightning talk on site. Thank you very much.
So Konstantin is getting ready, and Oliver is the next one.
Just submitted it.
Yeah, no.
Okay, then.
You want to present?
Maybe someone can help me with the microphone though, because I would need my hands.
There is also this mic that you
But
can
it
use.
doesn't work. But it doesn't work, yeah.
I mean,
It's buggy.
I mean, it was in the morning, but then it worked quite well.
So we can try.
So, I don't know what changed, but
Sorry about that.
They don't like being close to each other.
Yes, obviously. But let's hope it's going to be okay. Hello, my name is Konstantin, and I'm a EuroSciPy organizer. So one thing that, for example, I was setting up is the sprint registration page. And this is basically a markdown. And when I was doing this, I was thinking, can we maybe create and do something more than just pages with a markdown? So maybe do the Lightning Talk folder. And just now we had the couple of talks before a presentation about presentations. So I was thinking, what if I would create a Lightning Talk in Markdown? So I would do exactly the same thing. I would do front matter, set title, maybe presentations from the terminal. I'm not prepared, sorry. And Woodify would be, it's me, hello. And today is, oh, I don't know the date, like, I think that would be enough. Something's broken. Okay. Like this.
Cable, or you can
Yeah,
try
something is
different.
not fine.
This is stable now.
Mm.
Good. Okay, maybe we can try switching to them.
Can I have the time starting when I had my presentation up? We can also maybe try directly to the. I have the.
Oh, you have the HDMI.
I don't know if it's gonna work, but. Okay, there is a chance. Do you see it? Yes, we do. So I was saying, what if I will create this file and save it and get to the presentation from my terminal. And this is the terminal. Yay. And of course, I think I should be able to do a bit more. And why not to show some code? Indeed, right? Why not to do some Python? Why not to say hello world? Right? And maybe also why not to highlight some code? Because Markdown is kind of, static. So it would be actually indeed cool to just show some lines of code and highlight some other lines of code and actually give them line numbers as well. And actually maybe even execute stuff. I think I need to do it like here though. Oops. So let's see. Oh, and I can Control E. I can show the lines that I want. I want to run the Control E. Haha. So let's create some Python environment. So it would actually work. Why not? And I can also, but of course it's not going to work everywhere. So maybe we would need a special tool. So I can say exec, but also replace. And this part is, I think I prepared, but I'm not sure. We'll see. So this is link 1. That should show you the code to the project that you need to run to see if it's going to work. Okay? Oh, okay, it did work, but we need to maybe start a new slide, though. And slide, and see if it works better. Cool. Okay, so this should work now. Cool. And this is a terminal, again, for the project that you need to download to have this. But of course, it's not a standard terminal, and you might need something more advanced here to actually work. So maybe I need another slide. How much time do I have?
35 seconds.
Ouch, okay. So then I just need to explain that you need another terminal that works actually with the GPU and shows you some more stuff than just this. And code. And this one will actually show you like one of the terminals that you need to have it done, to have it working. And there you can show images and a lot of other stuff, which I hope I had in buffer. So we can go here. So with that one we have seen. This is the QR code to the tool. This is the QR code tool.
Thank you. Oliver, today or tomorrow? What do you want?
I can do it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm stressed.
All right, yeah. Is it working?
Yeah.
It's good? Okay, so the title of the talk is Forget Blue. Ghana's young people are painting the town yellow and orange, and it's a fun talk. You will understand in a minute why it is a fun talk. So, let's see. So, this is what I just typed into ChatGPT 5. So I have this CSV from this source. What is it about? And I prepared this because I thought, okay, I can do this now. And there's some Python code, it reads in the stuff, and it does some analysis, and it tells me, look, this is about color preference among selected adults in Ghana. And it's pretty much something random. I have no association to this. It's just the random data set. It tells me it contains this information, sex, age group, so, and then color preference, and then it even asks me, do you want me to check whether age or sex influences which colors I like most? And it might be because I rehearsed this, so it could be. So I say, instead of just typing in my question, I say, yes, please, do this. And then it does the next analysis, which is, again, does Python, does things, and it does something that's probably much smarter than something I could have done. It's probably something I might have been able, but not that fast, obviously. So it tries something out, it checks for age, and then for sex, and then it sees, oh, look. There's something, yellow-orange. So that's something significantly, there's something significant among the groups, and the p-value is slightly below the value that I need for this to be like significant, right? Everyone agrees? It's below this. It's below 0.05, like 5%. That's a good result, right? You agree? Then also, if I combine this, let's see what it gives me here. So yellow-orange combined by sex, also significant, nice. I would like a combination to make it even more significant. Can you give me a combination of age and sex? And then, obviously you can. Typically I type please, but in this case I'm lacking the time to be really polite. So, let's see. Be quick now, I only have 2 minutes left. Let's see. So, yes, be quick.
we don't want a visual plot, but I can tell you there is a combination that's even more significant. But now comes the interesting question that I have to copy, because I found something significant, something really relevant, right? Now, I asked this thing, is there anything wrong with my approach? I mean, with my obviously scientific approach, what do we say? And it tells me, it's critical. How could that be? I mean, how is that possible? So there are strengths. So something's good. So the method of testing is good because it wasn't done by me, it was done by ChatGPT, obviously. But I did multiple comparisons. All right. So I had one data set, I tried several hypotheses, and then also survey design is not described. I didn't have a pre-registered question or anything. And then obviously this is something that's pretty much called hacking. So that I did not have a hypothesis and then collected the data, and then eventually came up with, or I checked it. But you see what I did here? I did something else. And what I did, isn't that something? Can you give me a catchy title? And maybe something for tabloid? For tabloid paper? And you see that now you might understand where the title of the talk is coming from. So I just tried, just not because I'm serious about this, obviously, but let's see what it comes up with. I tried what would be possible if I, look, it's very similar. And this could be, I mean, if I was serious about it, that could be a way of working like in a different job. You come up with new titles and new findings in science. But obviously, as I said in the beginning, this is just a joke. You should do it. But it was one demonstration of like being like academically dishonest and doing hacking. You can Google it if you don't know what it means, but it means like you look at the data and then some noise might appear to you as something that's really significant, and then you pretend you... Thanks.
Thank you so much. This concludes our lightning talk session for today. We do have a poster session now, and essentially opposite to where we had lunch. Anything else we need to announce?
The social event.
Social event. I hope I'll see who's going to the social. Who's not going to the social event? Who's going to the social event? Nice.
What time does it start?
8. If you don't, I hope all of you picked up the jetons, the 2 coins with the nice EuroSciPy logo on top of it. Pick it up, please, in the front. I hope the reception desk, someone is still there, we can arrange that. So, I didn't pick it up before the process.
We'll also take them with us to the social event. So if you're like...
So you're going to distribute free drinks?
So you can have another proof of...
Okay.
Yes, but they are going to be a little tired and maybe already drunk, so be careful.
Anyways, poster session now. See you tomorrow for the keynote of Dawn. And Lightning, what? Konstantin wants to say something?
Yeah, so if you were, I'm not sure if there are anyone who's left in the list, but if you have submitted a lightning talk, you can submit it even now. If you weren't on the stage with the lightning talk, you still can be there tomorrow. And please do. We will have fun lightning session tomorrow as well. You can also register for sprints still. If you want to run one, go ahead and edit the page on our website. You can find instructions in the source code of the page of the lightning talks on the website, the sprints on the website. So if you just want to work on the sprints, please just come on Friday, and see you tomorrow in the morning. Bye bye.
One on the 2nd of September. Cool.